I just don't think it's a very thoughtful way of approaching it.
Well, why don't you think about what I just said, Julian? I'm asking you to think and connect
I don't
all
see.
Now, Julian, don't play the politics
connect
game.
the dots.
I
don't connect the dots,
Julian, I'm telling you, drop the liberal thing and focus on the reality thing. You have one entity after another going after the American people. You have one system of government, one agency, one department after another, essentially doing the same thing. You can call that conflating. I am telling you, there's a pattern, and you're just shrugging your shoulders. But I guarantee you, Julian, if it were George Bush doing it, you would rightly be all over it.
That's wrong.
Well,
that's actually incorrect, because I was actually.
Let's face it.
Look,
Julian, answer. Go ahead.
You want me to respond? So, look, you can't conflate all of these issues. You have to speak about them separately because they're very different. In the case of the IRS, I agree the targeting was wrong, but there was never any connection to the White House. Nobody's proven that.
This guy would make
in the case of the AP case, there was no one was criminalizing investigative reporting. Nobody in the Justice Department ever spoke about prosecuting Rosen. That was simply a method to get a subpoena.
They called him a emails.
That is not targeting.
They called him a
Secondly,
I'm not going to get anywhere on this point.
The White House,
Julian,
because I want to talk facts, and you want to make these general broadsides, Neil.
I'm sorry, Julian, you're saying nothing, and it's offensive.
Okay, well then, Neil, why don't we speak about them specifically? Let's debate each issue
Julian, why don't you talk facts?
You're the one making the general allegations, Neil, without backing them up with facts.
No, Julian, I'm not going to play this game with you, Julian. You play the same damn game, dismissing one.
Neil, you're playing the game. Neil, excuse me.
Cut his mic.
You're playing the Obama hater game.
He's going nowhere.
You're playing the Obama hater game, and you're not backing up with facts.
Then I want to go back to you, and I want to be very clear on this. Cut his damn mic. All right, let's just say heated, and not exactly business as usual on a business show this past weekend. Thousands of emails have been pouring in to ask, what the heck happened? Today I thought it high time to answer them and explain myself to you. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and one viewer called it Cavuto Unleashed. Still another chunky without his chunky monkey. I hated that guy. All talking about the same thing. Behavior they thought that was out of character, and for some, over the top. Cynthia emails, you're the host, act like it. Thomas in New York City. So anyone who disagrees with you, you just cut their mic? Well, no, Thomas, only this guy's, and since this is the first time, it's hardly a pattern. Paul via Yahoo agrees. It takes a lot to get you rattled. Today you were rattled, and frankly, I was glad to see it. John in Satellite Beach, Florida. The worst part is you paid Julian to frustrate you. Kim emails, good thing that Julian fellow was on remote. I really thought you would have lunch for him if he were there in person. KM in Palm Beach, Florida. What happened, Cavuto? Someone stole your meds or worse, mixed them up on you? Heather in Mississippi. When the comment seeker I know acts like this, I can only conclude he's bipolar. I'm a doctor. I can help. Vitter emails, you were right to get annoyed. It's a wonder you haven't many times before the way you put up with these liberal loons. Elfie in Clarksville, Tennessee. Yes, you are connecting the dots big time. There is a very calculated pattern which results in the total control of the country's population. Tom in Wheaton, Illinois just welcomes my temper. I always think that we should judge people by whether or not they would be fun at parties. I believe you would be fun at a party. Keep up the good work. All right, I'm not quite sure that's a compliment, Tom, but so it goes, and on it went thousands of emails over a heated weekend show about a very hot issue. All of these privacy invasions that my guest, Julian Epstein, insisted must be looked at individually. I disagree and urge all to keep the politics out of it and see the pattern collectively. As I said on this show and many times before, these stunning and sweeping assaults on our personal privacy should worry all Americans because this is not left or right, this is wrong. And when key House Democrats, including New York's Jerry Nadler and Virginia's Bobby Scott, want hearings on these NSA invasions, it is clear that they think something is wrong. And when Democratic Senators Mark Udall and Dick Durbin talk about government scrutiny that goes beyond the standard, it is clear they think something is very wrong. All of these invasions of our personal privacy under the guise of protecting us, they're just wrong. And it's no longer about keeping us safe. This is about keeping us safely under the government's eye. And it is clear the government is watching all the time. So I am not here now, nor was I this weekend, to hear anyone trying to protect a president, any president. I wanted to focus on protecting people, all people, because these are not isolated incidents, my friends. Julian might warn about conflating scandals. I worry about the totality of these scandals. As I told him, the incidents may differ, but the pattern is disturbingly the same. Government abusing its rights by taking away ours, a Justice Department that spies on reporters, an IRS that targets conservative groups. Then conservative donors, a Health and Human Services Department that strong-arms companies into promoting a health care law, the NSA ordering Verizon to surrender millions of Americans' phone records, then going after the likes of Google and Apple and eBay to get a hold of other records, other emails, our emails. Forget about cluster. Does Custer ring a bell? These issues surround us, my friends, and to minimize their threat or slough them off as individual incidents, each bearing no resemblance to the other, makes a mockery of us all. That is why I got angry. That is why I interrupted Julian, who is otherwise a friend. This is foolish. And that's why, after repeated attempts to get him to shut up about making this a political discussion, I simply decided to cut his mic. Now, some of you found that rude, but I found subjecting you to the same old tired back-and-forth talking points on what are now systemic assaults on our civil liberties, well, that would be even ruder. So I did something I never do. I lost it, but for good reason. This isn't just a scandal, my friends, or a series of scandals, or even scandalous behavior. I have no idea how high up this goes, any of this goes, only that it goes, and goes, and goes. Part of a business-as-usual pattern of assaulting the liberties we've apparently taken for granted. Realize what's going on here, and whether triggered by a Patriot Act initiated under a Republican president, or one put on by spying steroids under a Democratic president, the results are frightening. Rifling through our taxes, collecting our phone records, spying our emails, our associations, our friends, our families, our lives. Now, if this is not worth getting hot and bothered, frankly, I don't know what is. This is not about some fair and balanced debate on a story, because there is no fair and balanced way to debate the core of our liberties. Just my view. Just my show. Either we have them and enjoy them, or we do not. And the next time someone reduces it to a left-right thing, you bet I will cut in. And if they refuse to step back when I warn them, you bet I will cut their mic.